Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm going to teach you today how to build a 90-day action plan. And I'm super excited about this because our 90-day action plan is a major piece to our roadmap. I am Colton, Lindsay with the WGR Academy. And I can promise you, if you watch this training today, you're going to be able to have even more clarity over the next 90 days. You're going to have even more certainty in yourself to be able to go deliver. And ultimately, you're going to create more results in your business. And that's why you got into business in the first place, was more of this revenue to increase your financial life. But two, is you did it to create freedom. And so today, that's what I'm going to help you with. So let's go over what we're going to go over today. First of all, we're going to be talking about getting your smart week scheduled. This is extremely important. I'll go in details with it, but this is the creative time. This is the time where you design your world. The second thing is we're going to talk about establishing your routines. You've probably heard of it as a morning routine, but that's probably only one of the three most important routines that you got to develop with powerful rituals so you can execute. The third is we're going to follow the 8 forces of business, and these are the systems that you've got to extract from your brain, put them into a documented system so that you can put them on repeat and then optimize and maximize with them over time. And then the fourth is you need to track your critical drivers. These are the critical 3 inputs every single day that you've got to execute on in order to make this happen. And I'm going to give you a 4th bonus critical driver as well. So let's dive into it. Now, I want to appreciate you for being here, by the way, because I know there's other places. If you're watching this, there's a million other things that could get your attention. So I want to promise you I will absolutely deliver. And one of the ways that I can deliver and you'll get the most out of it is participate, play full out. So if you're going to watch this, don't waste your time just watching it. Get some notes out and get ready to take away some actionable items. When we look at a smart week, what this is, it is a 90-minute meeting with yourself that happens on minimum once a week. Now, if you are an agent that's doing less than $150,000 in revenue per year, once a week is suffice. If you're doing over that, you probably need twice a week. And if you're doing like my 7-figure a year income earners and business generators, is you need at least 3 of these per week. And the idea is we are doing a think time. A think time is all about creating awareness. It's a space for you to ask yourself powerful questions. I want you to write this down. Great leaders ask great questions. And the first person that you've got to lead is you. It's yourself. And so you've got to give yourself the attention to ask yourself great questions. And you're going to spend 90 minutes basically asking yourself questions. And you're going to take 1% of what your awareness is, and you're going to execute on that, what we call the 3 to thrive. These are the key actions every single week that drive your business forward. And these are the 3 actions on top of what you already got to do. Like you've already got to deal with setting appointments, giving presentations, getting contracts signed, negotiating offers, doing that stuff. Like that's the whirlwind. But on top of it is you got to execute. A great book to check out, I recommend, is The 4 Disciplines of Execution, is one of my favorite books on that. And another great book is The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. There's some great questions to ask yourselves there. But what's important is to understand this Smart Week is a must-have meeting with yourself every single week, and it's going to feel like an extra thing to do. And I'm here to tell you it's not an extra thing. It is the most important thing. Like if you have the choice between a $500,000 listing presentation or a client like that or doing the Smart Week, I'm going to suggest you do the Smart Week because you have to get great at telling the universe you're in control. You've got to get great at creating standards of what you'll tolerate or not tolerate. And if you put the $500,000 listing in front of this meeting, then all of a sudden you have become a whore in business and you're whoring out your attention. I know that sounds like a really disastrous term, but you literally will trade your values for who you are for money. And we don't want to create that system. We want to create a system of standards where your values drive your business. And this meeting is a must. I teach this inside of the WGR Academy. And in fact, even next Wednesday, I'm doing a free webinar. If you want more information, let me know. And I'm going to be teaching on this webinar, these exact things. Second thing are your routines. Now, you've probably heard of a morning routine before. If you're watching this on a social platform, put a 1 in the comments if you have. And in this thing, this idea of routines, it's like a really cool thing going out there. It's called Miracle Morning, a great book, by the way. But I want to encourage you not just to have a miracle morning. I want to encourage you to have a fucking miracle life. Like, what would your life be like if you had a miracle life? And so a routine consists of a morning routine, number 1, a daytime routine number 2, and then an evening one number 3. So here's what's important about your routines. It's all about emotion, energy in motion. I want you to write this down. I've asked this question a million times. What does time equal? And the top 3 answers that I get, you can drop your answer down below. But it's one is I hear that time equals money. You've probably heard that before. 2 is that I've heard that time equals freedom. And 3 is I hear that it equals opportunity, which those are all great answers. I actually believe that time equals emotion, energy in motion. And so when we look at our 3 routines, what is the emotion that you want in the morning, the day, and the evening? It's not the same emotion every single time. For example, in the morning, probably the emotion that you want the most is something like clarity. You want clarity, direction, some peace, some tranquility. When you look at the day, probably the energy you want is certainty. You want this sense of knowingness that money's going into the freaking bank account and that business is going forward. But you probably want to do that with a sense of playfulness and excitement and enthusiasm as well. And then in the evening, you probably want this sense of relaxation or achievement or accomplishment. You want the sense that you're actually moving the ball forward in your business. And so if we want to have these emotional outcomes, there is something, and I don't think I added this, I'm gonna add it right now, that we need to add, which are called rituals. Rituals are what make up our routine. So it's about 3 to 6 rituals or actions inside of our morning, day, and evening. And if we do them, it drives relaxation, it drives certainty, it drives clarity. But each part of your day is different that you want to create in it. Now, the objective is to build this system so that each day pushes you towards what your target is for the next 90 days. And I want to make a promise to you is your 90-day roadmap and action plan will always get jacked up. It will always get knocked off course by something. And the belief is that I can have a life or a business without it. And the reality is that's where the magic happens. The chaos is the opportunity to stay calm, centered, and balanced, move through it, and that's where you grow and expand. And if you put a focus on growth and contribution, the universe will take care of you. I can absolutely promise you that. Let's go ahead and move to the next segment, which is the 8 forces of business. And I'm going to switch over real quick to this other screen share. It might be a little bit blurry. I was testing it earlier, but it'll help for what we're trying to do. Whereas these are 8 forces that drive your business forward. And I call it 7, but there's really 8 things here. I learned this from Tony Robbins, but one of these that we have to look at, the number 1 is your skill right here as a business leader, as I've kind of put a mark on here, right? This one right here is one of the most important ones. Your skill as a business leader. That's your smart day, smart week, organizational chart, delegation, things like that. The second one, we're going to go to the right here, is your effective roadmap. Whoops, now I'm pushing a whole bunch of buttons. I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's see if we can get rid of this. It's your effective business roadmap if you look to the right. This is about clarity, communication. The third most important one, I'm going to go back to the left. It's right up here. It's called strategic innovation, products and services. And there's 2 questions you got to ask yourself. 1 is what business are we in? And 2 is what business are we getting into so we know where we're moving to forward. These are great questions. Here's a hint. Here's a clue. And ask yourself these questions in your Smart Week, in that weekly 90-minute session with yourself. The third one, which is the next most important piece, I'm going to jump down a little bit. It's world-class marketing system. I said the wrong one, but it's a world-class marketing system. This is where you draw people into your business. Here's my philosophy. You draw people into you, attract them into your world. You add so much freaking value to their life. Like I'm adding value right now is what I'm doing for the people that see this. And then when they come to you, you freaking monetize it. And I teach that in our mastermind program, how to do that. But you got to monetize these people inside of your real estate business. That's what I mainly teach here. And then the next one, moving to the left, is maximizing your sales system. And I taught that last week. I'm going to teach it more on the webinar coming up, but it's 4 simple steps. Write this down. 1 is about contacts, either people reaching out to you or you reaching out to them. The second part is the most important part, which is called meaningful conversation. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. The third is setting appointments, 3 a day minimum. You got to be focusing on getting 3 appointments set every day. buyer appointment, listing appointment, networking appointment. And if you're higher level, like in my mastermind people, they're doing 7 figures and above. It's also now you're making appointments to hire 18 people into your organization or get that next investment opportunity or partnership put together. And that's how you monetize these relationships. So the second is meaningful conversation. Third is the appointment setting. The fourth is give the presentation. Now, next Wednesday, I'm going to teach more about giving presentations that convert to contracts. Remember, this leads have no value that you get in your marketing system. It's the contracts that do. The name of the game is money into your bank account through closed transactions. And that happens through a very killer sales system that I can teach you. So after your sales system, I'm going to jump up over here, which is called the financial and legal system, just to the right of the marketing system there. And that financial and legal system right here is all about cash flow management and tax-free wealth, no matter what. And then with time, moving that to asset creation and asset protection. The sixth system right here, optimization and maximization. This is about your culture, your values, your leadership. This is about marketing. This is about sales. This is about all the systems we've talked about. How do you optimize and maximize them? And then the final one right here is your raving fan system, which your raving fans start with you. You've got to be your number one raving fan, validating and believing in you and your vision. And then your family and your partnership with your romantic relationship, if you have one. And then your leadership team, your core team, your real estate division, your top 50 relationships, your sphere of influence, your past clients. It kind of spreads out, and I can teach you that as well. But you got to organize these relationships, and you got to build raving fans of them. And then you get a flag or a logo, like here's mine, the WGR, if you can see it. That represents what the nation stands for, what the network stands for. And it's these cultures and these values that we have to develop. So let's move back to the next segment after the 8 forces of business. And I want to talk about critical drivers to just wrap up this meeting here in a little bit. The first is one critical driver over the next 90 days as you build out this roadmap in this meeting is, first of all, how many meaningful conversations are you going to have every single day? I'm going to put a note right here. It's 30. You got to have 30 meaningful conversations. Now, when I got into business, these meaningful conversations happened via telephone. I use Mojo. I love Mojo. I still recommend Mojo. But I also have to recognize that the answer rate is going down. And so especially when it comes to the most important relationships in your network, like right now, I've got a core team. I've got 4 leaders. I got 6 people on my core team. I got 8 people in my real estate division, 60 people in my mastermind, 100 people in our alliance membership. We've got 612 people in our real brokerage network. I got a lot of people to lead and oversee and to add value to. So it has to be systematized. So one of the ways today that I have a lot of meaningful conversations is I have a webinar and I have 40, 50 people on that webinar, and I'm able to have a meaningful conversation with a lot of them in 90 minutes so that I can impact more people's lives. But also on a smaller scale, like take my top 50 relationships, and I teach how to do this, and it's magic. But I teach a lot on voice notes and video drops that are directly to the most important relationships, and I'll teach you how to create that, how to manage that. But then when you do that, you can send out 30 videos in 30 minutes, and then you start to get responses either through other videos or text or voice notes. And here's the objective. You move them to appointments. You move them to setting up a time on your calendar. And then the second piece of your critical drivers is about communication mastery. Sales and leadership skills mastery is by far the most important thing that should get your energy every day. How do you improve your persuasion, your influence, your ability to get people to move forward, to do something with you, to ultimately get that contract signed, that partnership agreement in place so that you can monetize your relationship with this individual? Because that's what business is all about. It's about growth, contribution. Unfortunately, in real estate, we see it's a lot about significance and certainty. Look at how amazing I am, sort of thing. And that works to an extent, but it's not going to lead to the art of fulfillment. It might have the science of success, but it won't have the art of fulfillment that comes with it. That's why it's about growth and contribution. And then the third thing that's important about these critical drivers is you got to measure it. Measurement is so important. What I focus on expands. What I track grows. What I measure expands, right? Like this is such an important concept. And this is all about an attention management system and holding ourselves to a level of accountability to execute on the roadmap that we set out. So I appreciate you all being here today, going over what it looks like for the basics of creating a 90-day action plan. I have a whole program that I give away to some people inside of my programs. It's called the 98-day action plan. It's basically I train on this for 2 hours, give you a document that you can print out and that you can utilize. And that's really one way to really maximize this. But what I want to do to help out with this is next Wednesday, I am doing a free training, 90 minutes. You can get involved with this training. Just let me know, reach out to me, send me a DM, drop a comment wherever you're seeing this, or click one of the registration links that you might be seeing and get on this webinar. And here's what's going to go is I'm going to go in depth with this exact thing so that you can learn to execute on a higher level. And really the benefit to you is you're going to have more clarity in your business. You're going to be able to have a clear roadmap to move forward. The real benefit though is you're going to become a leader for yourself to increase your money and your freedom. And that's really why you got into business, increase your finances and your freedom. And I can absolutely help you do that next Wednesday. It's absolutely free. What this is not going to be is a giant sales pitch. Like I'm not just going to sit here and sell you for 90 minutes. No. I'm going to literally deliver information. I'm in the infopreneur space, and I literally teach patterns. That's what I do. And so I'm going to teach you these patterns that have helped me go to multiple seven figures in my business and on my net worth. And I'm going to teach you this, what has helped many of my top clients go from not only getting to six figures in a year, but six figures in a month. Like I want you to think about that. And it's these patterns that they're applying in their life, in their business, in their finances that allow them to accelerate to that level. So if you want to be a part of that free webinar, let me know or click a link if you can see it somewhere or drop a note and you can register. It's going to be on Zoom and I'm going to help you accelerate this path. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you there. I'll talk to you soon.